Hello everyone. Been a while since I have streamed, but here I am. I'm going to be doing 30 minutes on 3 songs, working on mixing them. Probably going to be doing a little bit of production on the side just to, build up these transitions because those need a bit of work. But I'm going to play through a little bit of this first song and then kind of identify what is wrong with it mixing wise given the first listen. So here we go. Right off the bat, there's like a weird sound coming, like a high-pitched sound coming from the kick. Sounds not good. Gonna use a little bit more. Alright, I can't even move on because this kick is so hurting my ears. So I'm gonna make this a little smaller here. What I want to do is either see if this kick can be saved or if we need to replace it. I think it'd be good to have it with the bass in because that's the relationship that we want to make sure is working for us. But I don't want all the other stuff in as well. There we go. So I'm going to turn off the synths. I'm going to turn off those synths. Turn off percussion and vocals and effects. And just listen. I have so many tracks on this one. 270. It's insane. It's because I've rewritten it a couple times. Really? How does that kick exist? Alright, bass is there. Here's our kick. I'm going to turn off. This is like a click or a kick topper that may or may not stay. And let's just solo this kick for a second. Take off what we've added. A little bit of processing, not much. So it's weird because when I play it just like that, it sounds pretty good. So something is happening to it. Let's just listen to that with the... So for the bass, I think we need a little bit more ducking. So I'm going to bring in kickstart. That's going to side chain it for us. That's actually probably a little harsh. I like to use one of these too. They usually sound good. Take the mix down. It's fun because taking the mix all the way down, and then I like to put this here around 150 hertz is usually like where I want the kick to definitely be hitting, unless I've decided that the bass is going to be more low end. So I'm going to try this when I bring the mix in for the bass of this sidechain. Right around here sounds good. So right now, what thoughts are crossing my mind is is this the right kick? I think we're lacking a bit of sub, which can be fixed with either a different kick, a sub layer. We could do it a couple different ways. I think I'll try a sub layer first. I have some subs from some techno songs that I've been working on. So let's see if one of those maybe work. And if they don't, we also want to know what key we're in. Let's see. I have my Ableton log here. DJ and his flare. Key. Maybe we have a key in here, maybe we don't. Usually I write it down. There we go. B minor. Love it. B minor. My Ableton log is just tracking what I'm doing while I'm doing it, so that I can go back and look at my thought process later on and say, oh, I did it because this. So then I can continue updating and making things better and better. So I just wanted to know that because I was about to pull in an F sub, but it looks like we have F sharp, so I can always tune it down. Let's try that. Actually, I don't know. I actually don't think that's going to be the sub we want. That actually sounds cool. There's a potential that we could just take one of these. I think this is F. We can bring in our tuner. Sometimes that works. Solo this real quick. If it doesn't work, we can look here. See where it's peaking, right around here. So it's F sharp if we, that's actually perfect, because we want it to be F sharp. That's got good sub to it. Part of mixing is definitely it's going and fine-tooth combing your sample selection and saying, like, is this doing what I want it to? So I think that might sound good. It will need a little bit more work to kind of mix it in correctly, because I also think that this is kind of contrasting a little too much with the bass line. On the other hand, I think it's a good sub sound, so if we can find a nice kick that works with it, it might sound really good. let's look. We want probably a kick B. That does have a good like clicky. Let's just try it out, I don't know. No. And I think that sub is getting in the way. And I'm doing a lot of work here, but I think sometimes you bring stuff in and then you delete it because you're just trying out these different ideas. This is going to be replacement sub. Instead of using a sample, I think I'm just going to use Serum. Serum, not Splice. And here I'm going to make this into a sub. I like to use both a sine wave and a square wave because the squares usually sound really good. Bring that down. Release. And these will need to be a little bit longer. A little over. I think that sounds much better than that original kick. And you know, in this kick replacement, I almost want to bring in a multiband so that this clicky part is still there, but not quite as hard. Now maybe I can back this up a little. Processing on these two. What's good though is that right now we are under. We do want to eventually bring this to -6 dB because that's going to give us the headroom for a good master. Keeping that in mind, I might try and start bringing the volume down a bit more and more. I feel like we could use a bit more of a pump and pulse from the kick to the bass. So I am going to start trying to use a couple of these plugins to glue the sub and the kick together. What would help is bringing the kick down. -6 is a place that a lot of people I've watched put their kick at. I don't think it's a bad idea. I'm going to turn the bass down a bit until they sound like they're in a good harmony together. Got a sub for the bass as well. That's a sub. Let's see where we are. Nice, -3. I want to see where we are with the kick. So together they're still pretty loud. Let's bring down the bass a bit more and the kick a bit more. Bass down. Kick down. Alright, so we're getting like more towards the -4, which is good. Again, if we're going to build up the whole mixing from this kick and bass, if you will, it's best to have these at like -6 at least, peaking at -6, or even -7, because adding in the other elements, the synths, the vocals, that's all gonna make the gain go up. Alright, we're at like -5. I'm good with that. And see, we can look at our glue compressor, which is gluing the bass and the kick together. We could have that going a little harder. Yeah, more makeup gain. You can tell, like, increasing the dry wet a little bit, making the makeup gain go up a little bit. You can like feel the pulsing a bit more, a little bit more energy. I feel like the kick could use some more character, so let's try and bring in this drum bus. See where we're at. Cool, that's coming out a bit more. Let's look at the other view, see what our kick, because all of these plugins either add or sometimes take away gain depending. So I want to make sure that we're not going higher in our volume here. So -7.7, when we turn the drum bus on, we just went to -5, so we're going to want to put a utility on and then compensate by bringing that down -2 dB. I have the bass in mono here, so everything under 120 hertz is going to be in mono. Kick tweak is a personal fave. Somebody recommended it to me in one of my Discord channels. Shout out Kick and Bass. And I really like what it does. It's a saturator, and it just adds some crispy saturation to kicks and basses. And I mean, you could use it on anything, but it's good for a kick. That's way too much though. that sounds good. And also we're gonna turn it off. We're at negative 6.97 for the kick right here. Let's see what happens when we put the kick tweak on. So we only gained about 0.2, so that's good. Before I commit, we can also try these other settings. I like that one better. And I'm actually gonna throw a little bit of compression on this kick because I want it to pop out a bit more. I might take this off. I don't usually compress kicks, but I've been trying out new things. The only thing I feel is that we're losing a little bit of clarity. And I don't like losing the clarity. So maybe actually what I want to add is an EQ. Let's give that a whirl. So we lost some, or I guess we gained some gain. So I'm going to actually come back in and bring in the utility. We were at like -6 before, now we're at -3. I'm going to check this. I'm going to bring this down. I don't like to use 100% of these plugins. And then bring this down -2. Gain staging, so making sure that I'm not putting on all these plugins and like not compensating for what they're adding to that channel. I want a little more crunch. I think the kick's sounding good. I like the bass too. Let's see how we're doing over here. Let's just take a quick look at the bass. What we got going on. So many basses. I've done a lot of work on this track. Also, in 4 minutes, I'm going to switch to a different song because I'm trying to go through switching up songs and not getting too stuck on one at a time. Okay, I just want to see what's on here. I've done all the processing on this up here, I believe. And it looks like I got some stuff going on This just seems a little loud to me right now. I want to just make sure that my kickstart just gonna bring it down a bit. All right, and now let's bring in the percussion and see where we're at with that. So I won't even lie, I just don't like any of that. So I'd like to rebuild the percussion. And even though I'm not going to have time to fill in all of these, I'll get it set up for the next time around. Group. These will be percussion. These two are going to be claps, open hats, and then we'll have some shakers, shaker, and a top loop. I'll probably add more than that, but just to get it started for when I come back. And we can throw in, I have these presets over here, MIDI to go, where I just drop this in for open hat pattern and a clap pattern. Definitely nice if you can set yourself up for quick inputting and outputting. And that's what these help me with. And we'll put this up there too. I also like to subgroup. So I'll subgroup these claps, and same with the open hats. And I really should be working in more of a template soon. I've made some templates and it's good to make them. I just felt like I hadn't perfected mine yet. And we can throw in some claps real quick just to see. progress on this. But now we're going to switch because I don't want to stay on one song. This is something I've been trying out where I'll switch between songs every 30 minutes. And that kind of like helps me from getting hung up on one problem on a song. It's like, oh, I'm going to move on. I'm not going to let myself get too stale on one project or upset or like have my brain too in it. So I feel like this is a great way to keep the ball moving, keep the flow flowing. This next song is Love So True. I gave all these songs a quick listen. They're songs I wrote in the kind of like summery winter time of 2023. So it's fun to look back and listen to them and think like, okay, I have some really cool ideas here. I just want them to sound as good as they can sound. And after I spent a lot of time learning more and more, I know that there's things I can do now to improve the sound quality, improve how they're heard by other people. I'm taking a mixing and mastering course right now through Toolroom, which is really fun and exciting because it's helping me watch firsthand somebody mixing, talk about EQ, compression, etc. And I definitely feel like I know the basics and definitely have had like lots and lots of work over time, finding out what I think works for me, but it's only got me so far, and I really want to improve that quality even more. So here's Love So True. Just going to play the intro, and once we hit a problem, we'll stop. I'll put a little limiter on so you guys can hear it a little better. So already this part needs work. Percussion not hitting the way I want it to. Let me go through and describe what I am hearing that's not working for me. There's some distortion on the bass that, although it sounds kind of cool, I don't think it actually works. I think it's not intentional enough. And it kind of like tires your ear out. I don't like that clap sound. I'm gonna turn off the percussion. Let's look at the bass. We'll put the kick away for a sec and just listen to the bass. So this is where all the distortion is coming from. This doesn't need to be there. I'm going to sidechain all these together. This compressor also doesn't need to be here because it just doesn't. Yeah, that sounds better. Let's listen to the sub. See what's going on here. Probably bring a little more in. I'm actually going to replace this with Serum because Sylenth for me sometimes tweaks out, and I'm seeing it tweaking out there. Let's turn this on. We'll bring that down 2 or 3. Bring this to a square wave. Increasing the release a little bit. delete what's not being used here and then go through these and decide if we need them. Okay, there's like a zillion auto filters. This isn't doing anything. What is this doing? Shaping it a little bit. I don't mind that. Don't need two limiters. There's a limiter here too. Yeah, I'm already getting some of the character back, taking this limiter away. I don't want to over limit. I'm already squeezing it so hard with this. I'm going to take this down. Be over here. Right here I'm boosting like some of those like mid lows. I'm going to use warm tube. I'm going to turn this up. Look at this compressor. I'm going to use something intentional here. This is kind of snappy. So I'm choosing a snappy compressor. I'm going to turn the ratio up a little bit. And turn the mix down, letting it breathe a little. I don't want it to be too overly processed. And instead of using this compressor, I'm actually going to use Kickstart. Shocker. I like this one. Let's do that thing where we start over here, about 120. I mean, we can look too. Like, I'm choosing this hertz right there. It shows up right there. I'm using that as my guide because my kick, I want to make room for it. But we can check it out. Look at this. Ugh, so much stuff here. I'm deleting the things that are already turned off. So much over processing because I didn't know what I was doing, but now I know more. And that's the fun part about music, is there's always more to learn. So yeah, so right here, it's actually kind of more around 70, 80 that our kick is kicking. So with that, see, it was good that we checked. Now we can go into our bass and choose 80 because that's where we want to make room for the kick, and then we'll slowly pull it in and hear how much we like. We should probably turn the kick on. Ooh. Sounds good to me. And like, what's going on with the kick? Let's listen. Let's look. I like what's happening with this. That's a good kick to me. But this kick tweak is kind of, it should be on the top because I want it to affect both. And I don't know what this top click layer is. I don't know if we need that. Kick could be turned up. Okay, and I want to move this up here. And look at what it's doing. I don't need it so much in the red. That was a really weird LFO move. I'm literally taking away the entire attack of that kick. Very strange. right, now our kick came back to life. We can turn it down. Let's anchor it at -6 again. For the kick, this is the kick top. I'm going to take the top off for the time being and see if I feel like we need it later. So let's look at the kick over here in this view and see where our levels are. Kick, 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 kick. -6. Okay, that's good. Over here it's -3 because we have our kick tweak on. Got the kick tweak on. Let's turn it off, see how much gain it's adding. Okay, so it's adding about 1 dB. Let's shave that 1 dB off. Lovely. I like the drum bus. So we're trying something new here. Like the last song, we did drum bus first, then kick tweak, and now we're doing kick tweak and then drum bus. So it'll be interesting to see if we can hear a big difference between that chain. Too much boom. Too much drive. Oh, we turned that on too. We didn't want that. The saturation got turned on, which I don't want. Even though the drum bus is a form of saturation. And we didn't actually gain, like nothing was added because we don't have on, the dry wet is pretty low for this drum bus, so it really didn't add much gain, so I'm not worried about adding another utility. Weirdly, I want the kick to be like a little wider. You can go in here and do spread just a tiny bit because that's a little cray. But I think it's gonna work. Also, I want to look at this kick and bring in an EQ and check out what's going on. Tiny boost there is not too offensive. I do also want to bring in a multiband and do the same thing we did last time where we're kind of like, there's that click, but I don't want it to hit as hard as it's hitting. Softer attack, long release. I think that sounds good. Let's bring in the percussion. Also, let's check out this glue compressor. We can turn this higher up. Once again, don't like that percussion. I think it sounds bad. So instead of even going in, I'm just gonna right away build out a new percussion grouping so that when I come back, I'm gonna be able to fix it. That's weird, Solon TV. Thanks for letting me know. I I haven't streamed in a while, so I had to reboot my Restream and reboot OBS and fix stuff up. So there's so many tricky little elements. It's like learning Ableton's hard enough, and then I gotta go learn OBS. But I'm happy too, because it's really cool to have a online community. And thank you, ZZ Whoop. I appreciate it. I'll add you on Discord. Oh, thanks for committing and going to check me out on YouTube. Truly appreciate it. All right, so I got all these percussion here. Gonna group them and relabel them and recolor them. I have a thing. I really hate the brown color in this. I hate the brown in Ableton. Just the color, because it looks like poop. All right, and then we're gonna do the same thing we did last time. I'm gonna group these. I'm gonna rename them clap, and then I'm gonna group these and rename them open hat, clap, open hat, and then we'll do these two as top loops. And again, subject to change, but that's usually what I've been enjoying and needing in my tracks. We can take a quick look at this percussion. Look at all the old stuff I have. This is just like me seriously being like, I don't know. Well, I don't know. I want it to be good. That's what that is. All right. I actually don't hate that. Don't hate that. I like those. I really don't like these claps. And this has too much stuff going on it. I don't like individual reverbs like that. Because reverb is a great time to glue sounds together. So not utilizing that opportunity is a travesty. And it won't be done on my watch. Okay, we'll do the open hats. And we only have about 10 more minutes on this track before I move to our last track. And I guess I'll do one of these, which will be a hi-hat. Hi-hat action. Boom. Gonna make these the same color. Colors really help when you're producing. Use them to your advantage. And this open hat sound, I can go show and explorer. I should be able to just look it up. Crash 909. Short 07. There we go. I'll be here, pull that in for open hat. We'll start there, mix this in. Fading out, fading in a little bit. Turn up the volume a bit. Let's check out the transposition. A little detune, I actually like that. A little spread. Nope, that sounds weird. And I can hear this, but on my open hat, I have a pattern already, so there's a velocity difference between the first hit and the second hit and the first, and then the third hit and fourth hit. And that kind of creates a new groove. It's just creating a bit of like a if you can hear that. Turn this down a bit. And I kind of like this sample, and it looks like there's a lot of Crash 909 things here, so maybe I'll see if I can find a complimentary one. Maybe that one. Go on one shot. Play with the detune. Some more shaping. An LFO tool would be really nice on top of both of these open hats to kind of make sure it's nice and tight in the mix. Bring this up, bring this down. Change the rate so it's every eighth note. That's sounding good. That's sounding nice and natural. I'm going to pan these a little bit because this is a great place to create a little stereo width. Little 10, little 8. That's probably good. And then claps. I'm definitely going to add some like reverby type stuff too, but I kind of want to pick the sounds first and then see how they all fit together. So let's look up clap, find some claps I like. Sounds good. Check out the transposition. Oof, I like that. Sounds pretty freaking good, if you ask me. Put another LFO tool on these claps just so we can make sure that that sounds locked and loaded. We're also going to put this on eighth note. Yeah. Now we're getting a good groove. There's a frequency here I don't like. There it is. Let's see if there's any more. Maybe we'll just bring out this one with a little shelf. I'm going to turn this into a shelf. I'll actually turn that one into a curve down. Let's hear how it sounds. It's sounding better. I don't know if it's fully there yet, but we're making a progress. This one's Evu House Sounds. This is gonna be my last move here, because then I'm gonna move on to our last track. CH909 Here we go. Trying to get better at collect all and save before I finish. Like that. Just gonna turn it down a bit. I kind of have an idea for the open hat. This airy vocal. Plus the telephone vocal. Telephone. This is without them. I like that for right now. Might be a placeholder, might stay. Also, I'm gonna do a little panning with the claps. Also, little hack, if you make one clap a little later or before, it kind of has this Haas effect Delio, I just changed the delay of that clap so this is going to hit 4 seconds after it's on the point, 0.4 milliseconds, which kind of adds like a wider dimension to the clap. Shimo, you can do let's do -3. Open hats are the only thing that are kind of bugging me right now. All right, I like that. And now we move to our last little track of this session. Isn't it kind of fun to switch songs? We get to like basically do very similar things to each of the 3 songs, but we get to focus in on that one part, which is essentially like that mix of the core elements, the bass, the kick, percussion, including the clap, open hat, hi-hats. And we haven't gotten really to the top loops yet, but that's coming. This last song is called Tangerine. I worked on it like almost half a year ago, so this is fun to bring it back in and put all this knowledge that I've gained over the past half year into it, because low-key I've learned so much. And I swear we'll get to hear a whole version of these songs eventually. I'm going to be starting to stream more, which I am really happy about. Of course, these files take forever to load. It's because there's so much goodness inside them. All right, let's give it a listen. Just 2 dB to the gain. I'll let us listen through the first drop.
Just love me while you smile, I'll be all you could believe and more. Take a merry-go-round with me and you'll be leaving the shore. Got a lot of lessons falling out of my sleeves, but I gotta retreat. Want you to breathe into this life with me, but we both gotta be free. Wishing on your wish, wishing on your wish, wishing on your wishing well. Boy, I have a lot to tell. Do you wanna hear me?
I'm gonna get rid of those tiny voices, the high-pitched monkey, chipmunk voices.
You remind me, tangerine, me. All you wanna do is play your records on your record machine. Tangerine, please. Do you wanna see me, or am I just a distant dream? Tangerine, me. All you wanna do is play your records on your record machine. Tangerine, please.
Meh, I don't like that part. Yeah, so big thing, think I'm just lacking sub. That would be my big note to self right now. Lacking sub. Fixable. So let's do what we just did. I'm going to delete all these like weird channels of stuff where I'm like, is there anything even there? No. It's funny to see how much I've updated how I make things, because a lot of this has changed. All this is not labeled the way I would usually label it. These are like background vocals, and this should all be one color because that's how I like to do the vocals. Let's make it pink. All right, vocal effects. These are effects. Gonna make those all the same color. Very good. These two. Nice when they all are the same color. Let's choose that. Boom. Organization really helps, because when you have everything organized, it's way easier to make decisions. When things are not organized, it's like I don't even know what I'm looking at. Like I have all these kicks here. I'm gonna delete those. And I have all this empty stuff. Gonna delete that too. Gonna get rid of this synth. Bye. Lovely. All right, now let's make our low end all one color. What? Great. Looking better already. Synths are going to be one color. Boom. Great. Already progress. All right. Now let's go into here. Let's see what the heck is going on with the low end. So this is one of those kicks that has that weird, like, literal metal sound in it, like super high pitched. I don't know if you can hear it. I can hear it. It's horrible. I don't know about that noise. I'm just going to turn it off for right now. Also, good to know what key we're in. Looks like A minor, but let's just check. Tangerine. Yeah, okay, it's C major. C major, which is also A minor. And for dance music, a lot of stuff is written in minor keys. In case you didn't know. All right, I'm gonna turn off the percussion. Okay. So much. Let's look at this. All right, this is our sub. Interesting. I'm gonna switch this out. There's way too much processing on this, in my opinion. I don't even need to look at it. It's like one of those things where it's like, if I knew I know that when I made this, I really didn't know what I was doing. So I just don't trust most of the moves here, which is why I feel confident just getting rid of them. This is goodbye, because I'm going to put a kickstart on here, which is the side chain. All right. All right, so for here, I'm gonna switch this to Serum. And I'm just gonna make that same sub that we've made twice now. Good, can't really hear it. That's what we want. Take this to like 140. This should be like right there. I'm gonna move that up there on the bass. We'll go through adding those in. Turn all this stuff off. So there's definitely like some little sound I'm hearing here. Also, I don't want this clipping. I just wanted to hear it better. Don't want this in the red. And if you're like not sure, you don't like those sounds. I'm gonna do another one of these. Multi-band, bringing that. This is a little different than the kicks I usually use, but I kind of like it. I'm not offended by it. But it does have like a good amount of extra sound going on. I'm gonna bring actually another EQ in. Carve this off again. Because I like the knock I'm getting. And I'm also gonna bring a sub in here and see what that does for us. We'll bring this down to -6 because again, that's kind of like where we want to keep that, the kick, and then put things around it like that. Sub kick. I'm gonna go in. I'm literally actually just gonna copy this. Copy. Paste. And then EQ. The only thing I feel about this kick though is that it's like so knocky, like that it doesn't kind of reflect the smooth kick era that I'm in right now. So without committing to it, I'm just gonna try a different kick real quick. see if there's maybe one that's better. Yeah, I kind of like that better. It's a little smoother. And then kick. A little rounder. All right, now I'm gonna try and bring in some of this processing again. Let's bring out the drum bus. Too much boom, too much drive. Let's look about how much that's adding. -3. So we'll bring in a utility and bring it down about 1 dB.5 minus 1.5. Bring out kick tweak. I like 1. 1 sounds good to me. Let's see what that's adding. -4.39. It's adding about a dB. So we'll take it down 1. Gain staging, gain staging. Let's look at the low end as a whole. Bring this threshold. I like the attack a little longer now. Makeup around 5. The sub is doing its work. All right, I like that. The one thing about the bass is that it sounds kind of thin to me. We did remove all the processing, so let's try and add some back now, and maybe that'll make it a little bit juicier. Yup. This is crazy though, that's way too much. That sounds way better. We're gonna go warm tube. Turn this down mix-wise a little bit. Let's look at the bass. So this is with no processing. -9.14 with the saturation on. Ah, we actually lost more. So it went down in decibels, but the perceived loudness is higher. We love when that happens. Another thing I like to do to add some beef to the bass is actually add the drum bus. So let's do that, see what happens. Let's see. -11, -8, so it added about 2.5. We'll gain stage that, take that down about 2, let's say 2.2. And then also, we don't have the kickstart on here. So let's go look at the kick, see where it's peaking. We'll bring in a little EQ. It's around 90 for this. You can hear it already doing the work. Let's bring it to 90. 90, there we go. And let's do this one. And bring it in and figure out where we like it. I like it right over here, around 27. Actually, 29 sounds good. Do you think the bass is a little too loud now? Still want that kick front and center. A little wider. Sounds good to me. Then we'll bring in the percussion. Don't like this processing at all. Think it sounds bad. It's like if the processing is bad, I don't know if I even like the sample. Like the sample sounds bad. Is it the processing or is it the sample? Can't know until you take it all off and then rebuild. Figure it out. Yep, I just don't like that sample. Or that sample. Great. You know what this means. We are building out our percussion again. It's gonna be so much better. At this point, having the template would be rad. But this is so great because now I know going forward what I need to get my songs to the place I want in terms of organization, which is just as important as adding the actual sounds. Percussion, group, clap, clasps, open hat, and actually don't need to group those. Sorry. We'll call one hi-hat, one top loop. We're gonna call two top loops. Top loops. And we'll bring in our clap pattern. and we're just about at our 30 minutes with this one, so I'm just gonna add this in, see if I can add a quick couple of samples that fit better, and then it's time to give the ears a break, because mixing for too long will make you lose objective. Clap. High key, like that for a top loop here. That brings a nice groove in. I'm gonna do this with transients. I'm just gonna take out some of the information that's coming through. So I'm making the less sound come through, essentially, by doing this. Yeah, that's nice. I'm gonna turn it down too. Also, I hear a frequency that I don't quite love. Bring that EQ in. Better. And I can this is something that should definitely have movement, in my opinion. Auto pan. Just give it a little bit of movement. Look over here, see if we can slide in an open hat real quick. I like that. Nice. Oh. These didn't all update. Claps. Open hat 2. Actually goes pretty well. Nice. Give them a little stereo width. See if we can add a clap. I like this clap. Oof. Those work together nicely. This has some harsher frequencies. Little width. Sounds better than where we started. This was the old. Yay! Well, good work, team. I will be back hopefully sooner than later. I'd like to start streaming again every day. So stay tuned for more music, mixing, production, and good vibes. Hope everyone has a great rest of their day, and thanks for tuning in. Ta-ta.